Hi there, friends. I'll come in here with a quick note to let you know that the first global Product Owner Summit organized by the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is coming soon. To know more, check out the bit.ly/Product Owner 2023. That's bit.ly/Product Owner 2023. That's all one word, all lowercase. And stick around to the end of the episode to know more. But for now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Success Thursday this week with Daniel Westermayr. Hey, Daniel, welcome back.
Glad to be back, Vasco.
Absolutely. So we're going to dive into the question of the week in a minute, the success question. But before we do that, do share with us, Daniel, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
I'm unsure if I really have that one favorite format because to me, it's all about success with products and people, and that success depends largely on the context of the organization. So what I always do is I try to figure out what might work now, given what might work best given the context. But that being said, I really enjoy retros that connect, here it is again, data with the emotions of people, like the timeline retro, where you, for a larger iteration, say, write down all the events that happened in the past and then connect it with the emotions of people. I really dig those because if we are able to connect emotion and data, we're really getting to the heart of it, I believe.
What do you mean by that? So I realize what kind of association you are referring to, right? So like using data to trigger or to recall a certain emotion at a period of time. I realize the mechanics you're referring to, but what is the deeper meaning you have behind that connection between data and emotions?
First of all, I think it's really interesting to see that not all people connect their emotions to the same way. Like, I remember that we had one sprint when I was a product owner where we couldn't deliver anything. So it was part because of my fault, because I was unclear on the priorities, and then we were trying to deliver all of it and not really prioritizing. And in the end, we ended up not delivering anything, and we said so actively in the review. We didn't cancel the review. We stood there and said, okay, we were not able to deliver anything. And funny enough, to me, it was a tricky experience, I would say. I had somewhat negative emotions in that, but more on the developer side, they had really positive emotions on that because, okay, we really stood up for ourselves. We really talked about it, what happened there. And that made us realize that not everybody has the same emotions given the same situation.
Yeah,
answer the question.
And what that then helps us is to understand what certain events mean for different people, because obviously it's plain that or it's plainly clear that not everybody will look at the same event and realize or take the same insights or knowledge from it, right? Because everybody comes at an event or at an observation from a different perspective, with a different background, different history, having or not having seen that before, and so on and so forth. So what you're describing is also a very practical and pragmatic way to accept diversity in the team.
I've never seen it that way, but that's an accurate and excellent description.
And one of the other things that comes to mind is that the emotions are connected to the narrative that people build in their minds, and that the fact that they react with different emotions also helps us understand what might be different narratives in the team. Like, for example, when the team doesn't deliver at the end of the sprint, maybe the testers are frustrated and maybe the product owner is enraged, but the developers are probably, unfazed because it's always been like this.
Agreed.
Right?
And the fun thing was like, so in hindsight, okay, we were able to put the pieces together at that point, and it really helped us moving forward. So not only seeing the bad things in it as I was doing it because I was in the spotlight, like, okay, I had to say we were not able to accomplish anything. So, but also like, okay, here is some positive emotions connected with that, because it it helped us in terms of prioritization moving forward, right? Okay, we don't want to end up there again. What can we do now?
Absolutely. And another thing that I like about connecting emotions with data is that emotions are the trigger for change. When we really
Agreed.
feel something, especially if it's a negative emotion, we feel the need to change. We get like this inner motivation to change that is very hard to replicate with rational arguments, right?
That's true. That's true. And what's interesting, I think that in Kanban, we would say like, okay, start with the sources of dissatisfaction. What are people dissatisfied with from an internal and external viewpoint? Because if everybody would say today, oh, it's great, we're working great together, we collaborate great together, the results are great, why change anything? Right? And that's like interesting, because that is the tension that companies have now today. Is like many companies are telling us, okay, we're not satisfied with the results that we're seeing, but on the other hand, they're having a hard time changing things. So by connecting to the things that they don't want to see in the future, or that they want to improve, here is the room for change.
Well, this would have been a great topic also for yesterday's episode on change.
Agreed.
So, Daniel, now we dive into the question of the week, of course. That's the success question. So, share with us, how do you define success for yourself as a Scrum Master?
That was tricky. I think we need to differentiate somehow. So the ultimate success and goal, for that matter, for a Scrum Master is, in my world, the success of the product or the organization, right? Make no mistake, I believe companies are doing Scrum. We are doing Scrum. I am doing Scrum because we hope for a certain gain, right? If not, if the results were okay, the results that we were seeing in the past were okay, we could have just stuck with our old ways of working, right? On the other hand, that success is largely determined by the system that was set up. And probably I'm not as naive as to believe that one Scrum Master could single-handedly turn things inside out. But the second part of success is whether I, as a person, manage to inspire people so that they feel compelled to think different about work or about the ways of working. And that obviously then is a means to an end, because the end being, again, is a better result for the product or the organization. And this is why those things are connected. You cannot receive a better end when you're not changing the way that we work together right now. And it's all things that we're talking about in terms of flow of work and stay away from resource optimization and put collaboration over individual overload. These are all parts of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like your definition of inspiring people to think differently about the ways of working as one definition or potential aspect of success for Scrum Masters. Because indeed, a lot of our work, as we discuss every Wednesday, a lot of our work is about helping people to think differently, to see different aspects, like what you were talking a minute ago, connecting emotions with data. That's a different approach than just looking at data and trying to figure out rational insights from it, right? So mining what is there, understanding that, whatever is going on is information we can take on and react to, right? Even if it is as powerful, but also as simple as an emotion.
And it's really like amazing on what I see in organizations in terms of like, for example, resource optimization. This is also one of my passionate things. Like, everybody is overloaded to the max, right? People are split between projects to a 5% level. Like, okay, you got 2 hours here. Why don't you spend them on this product? Because you, Daniel, you're so expensive as a person. I want to optimize you as a resource. And then it's like everybody is complaining that, okay, if I need help from that person over there, she never has time. And I'm asking, like, okay, where does this come from?
Lack of systems understanding for once.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is like, it makes my head spin that what I typically see in organizations are just huge inventory of waiting queues.
Yeah, as Deming would say, you give a manager a goal and they'll do anything they need to get to that goal, even if they have to bankrupt the company in the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that is like, And it's so deeply ingrained in organizations, right? I recently had a conversation on LinkedIn, and it was like, if you look at a production line, people would never get to the idea to outlast a machine northwards of 80%, because we all know the negative effects, right? But on people, especially in knowledge management, it's just so typical that people are juggling with multiple things at the same time.
And I think that one of the, or at least that's one of my theories. One of my theories is that people can't manage, or the people that can't manage knowledge work usually do it because they don't see it.
Yes.
I usually give the example. So there's this one developer at a desk typing frantically into the keyboard and continuously typing and looking very seriously at the screen and totally typing. And then there's this other developer in the other side of the room sitting back with their feet on the table and throwing a ball in the air. Which one is being more productive? And there's no way to know the answer to that question. Of course, you can know after the fact, right? Like you can, in the future, you can look back and see who was more productive. But when it is happening, when work is happening, there's no way you can do that. And that makes it very hard for us to understand the systemic consequences of our choices. True. Because maybe the person who was juggling with the ball was going through the process of solving a very difficult problem. Mm-hmm. And the coding part is easy once you know how to do it. While the other was frantically typing some old code that needed to be retyped in a new language or ported to a new technology or whatever. And then you ask, okay, so which one of these was more productive?
And maybe I think that broadly software development has not yet been understood by many companies or by many managers, because software in my world, and I learned this from one of the greatest software developers I had the pleasure to work with, software development is comparable with nothing. There is nothing we can compare it with. So you can make a product out of prose, which is typically not the case. Typically, you have some kind of specifications, and you can objectively say, I don't know, this pen, is it that large?
It's how heavy
material,
it is,
how heavy,
and
all of that stuff. You can really specify these things, but you cannot specify in prose on what you want to achieve with a product. With a software product, you just can't.
If you could, it would be the program itself, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And then it's like Ralph at that point, he was telling me the relation between reading code and writing code should be 10-1, right? Because you need to understand all kinds of how is that whole mechanism going to work before you insert new code. So that is, and that is like, because, or that is the reason why lines of code is not a good measure in terms of productivity. And we don't have anything to measure productivity by in software development.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there have been attempts, but nothing convincing at the moment.
To me, it doesn't work.
Daniel, oh my God, this could be a long conversation, but we'll continue this tomorrow when we talk about product owners, I think.
Hey, looking forward to that.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around. This year's first global summit dedicated to the product owner role in Scrum will have some amazing keynotes and 2 tracks filled with first-hand stories and experiences for product owners to learn more about that critical Scrum role. We'll have Roman Pichler, author and product expert, who will be answering your questions and sharing the most important aspects of the product owner role. We'll also have Colleen Johnson talking about why roadmaps are probably making your life much harder than it needs to be, and what to do instead. This talk was quite a success in Agile Online Summit 2022, and Colleen has learned some new tricks, tools, techniques that she will share with us when it comes to roadmaps for the product owner role. And we will also have Henrik Nyberg, author of Scrum and Kanban from the Trenches, as well as one of the creators of the Spotify model. So come in and listen to his stories. And we'll also have, of course, 2 tracks with many more sessions and even some live sessions. The 2 tracks will cover practices every product owner should know, where we'll be hosting conversations on topics that product owners need to be familiar with, like backlog refinement, planning, and much more. The second track will be on metrics, measuring product and personal success as a product owner. As product owners, it's crucial to have a clear understanding of what are the metrics that drive success for us, and of course also for the products and businesses that we work with. And we need to continuously measure and optimize those metrics. So in this track, we'll be sharing what's working and what's not in the area of measuring success for product owners. We will also have the opportunity to network with our peers. It's a network event, of course, so get your tickets and join our Slack. Go to bit.ly/product owner 2023. That's all one word, all lowercase. As always, we will have free tickets and VIP tickets, which will give you long-term access to the content of this summit. So check them out at bit.ly/product owner 2023. All lowercase, all one word. I'll see you on the summit floor. Part of a successful Scrum Master job is to help the product owner. Tomorrow we explore that critical role in Scrum, the product owner role. Tune in to learn about product owner anti-patterns, what you can do to help the product owner, and a real-life example of what a great product owner is and what made it so. Tomorrow on our Friday Product Owner episode. See you tomorrow.